Have you ever been on social networks and watch a new attempt at the self-help craze only to be overwhelmed with self-loathing and less satisfaction with life? You're not alone. Today there are many who are swept away by the self-help craze and the idea that personal development is the way to improve one's lot in life. What if I told you that the constant chasing so actively pursued by society may in fact be destroying your life? In this video, watch this to learn about some of the problems with this self-improvement process and how you can see yourself ending up in a non-winnable game of disappointment. It's like having to arise every morning knowing that you have to be a high achiever in your job, relationships, health among other areas. It's exhausting, isn't it? This video will question the idea of personal development as an organizing principle and the ultimate fix to all of your woes. Rather, we will consider how having a goal to progress can be counterproductive when it comes to the idea of savoring the current life stage and the process that is being undertaken. By the end of this article, you are likely to get information that may change how you perceive self-help and the process of change. Therefore, if you have ever experienced that you are under pressure, or if you are just bored with striving for the better life that is always ahead of you, this video is worth watching. It's time to open the lid on self-improvement and dive into a healthier philosophy of self-enhancement. Now, do you think that it is time to change a number of things that you believe is true regarding self-improvement? Let's get started. In the contemporary society, the culture of self-enhancement prevails, which is depicted as the solution towards most of life's difficulties. That being said, the reader should make sure that this continuous pressure towards high efficiency results in over-expectation and disappointment. This way, a person becomes entrenched in a realm of critical self-assessments, thinking that if only one read just one more book or went to one more seminar, he or she would find the key to the happier life. While this mindset not only applies pressure but also distorts the actual potential of self-enhancement, as the cardinal shift happens from relishing thin and purposeful activities to running a list of activities in the name of personal development. Also, the solutions that appear to solve problems instantly seem very attractive. The audience spends hours on end browsing through social sites being fed with success stories that continuously tell them that the future holds nothing but good things to those who would have to effort much. However, very little attention is paid to the real circumstances of those fairy tales. For instance, though it is good to view a person making profits out of business, the number of hours one may take practicing and acquiring precise experience is icing on the cake and is less displayed. Overall, instead of cultivating the spirit of grind and constant self and spiritual improvement, the productivity and self-improvement perspective contributes to cultivating the feeling of inadequacy and failure in people who do not rise to the level of constant stuck-papering. In my experience, one has to maintain the role of a mentor and explain that there is no need to turn so black and white when it comes to self-enhancement. People and everyone should be encouraged to understand life problems instead of putting on the perception that the system is in place to solve their issues universally. Such exposure can be used to take part in real-life events and gain better results on the way. Thus, as useful as it is to look for resources for one's improvement and growth, it is just as good to exercise practical work and contemplation before attaining more effective and sincere self-development process. As we work to become better individuals, one can easily find himself or herself engrossed in the dream of reading more books, watching more videos, and attending more seminars. However, as a wise mentor, it is very important to state that the true measure of acquiring new knowledge is when one applies it. Thus, the overabundance of information consumed while learning might become detrimental and hinder the learning process as well as personal development of an individual. Think of a young person who wastes their time in imbibing knowledge about business through books and podcasts but does not actually begin their own business. Though the information which is received in this process, let's say, is valuable, yet the real learning only begins when it is experienced by dealing with the difficulty and the barriers we face in our daily lives. Loss and loss, they are not a tragedy but a stepping stone for success, and the knowledge gained are much more profound than any book or video could ever impart. In ways relating to transformation, it is also desired that the learning of knowledge is done in equal measure with the actual application of it. Certainly, knowledge of mindfulness is something that can be gained through reading, but the positive effects, as any other skill, appear in the course of regular practice, based on which meditation is primarily known. Similarly, hearing about something such as goal setting is very different from setting smart goals and doing everything possible to achieve them. This is what leads to change. Being a mentor, it lies in your mandate to accept that life's tempo should be balanced with efforts aimed at personal growth. Cup of book or videos may inspire people and provide lessons. However, making actually happens when people are taking what they have learned and use it. philosophy of down to earth. By choosing practical experience and having an orientation towards gaining from the flow of life, one can be empowered to undertake a process of real personal development for the purpose of effecting a sustainable change. It is therefore important when practicing self-enhancement that one should balance between working hard and smart and at the same time improving himself or herself. Boss, that's a great way to sum it up. Many successful people did not become successful due to the amount of content they devoured, but due to their laser-sharp focus on their interests and actualization of practical skills. This balance makes it possible to gain a better life, where everything that exists in reality interlaces with life-growing experiences. For example, the best pianist will spend time to practice his or her piano skills. However, they also perform to an audience, listen to critiques of the performance, and then change their style to suit the feedback. More significantly, it is this blend of practice and real-world interaction with clients that drive them closer to the goal. Furthermore, one should not confuse self-enhancement processes with real-life activities, which also need to be carried out. A person wanting to enhance his or her financial standing may go through articles on how to invest or invest in stock. The real education takes place when the person decides to employ this method of investment, even making a small investment. I have learned a lot of lessons in my internship which cannot be taught in any book. Through this kind of experience, people are able to work outside their comfort zone and thus figure out what they should do when dealing with the challenges of the financial world. Finally, I always say that true character development is an optimum of practicing and studying. In other words, it is educating people that although knowledge is strength, but it becomes further strength coupled with a bright future when that knowledge is put into practice. Thus, the concept of building skills and loving one's job makes a person build a meaningful life and change some aspects of life for the better. Thus, as you go through your journey, let me remind you that some of the best paths, there are those which apply knowledge and learning with action and practice, weaving a carpet of experiences that would lead to steady improvement. Now that we know what self-improvement entails, let us engage on what has been discussed on this topic. Are you ready to free yourself from the subject to constant pressure and the constant striving for the impossible? Look at your own experience. What do you think are the lessons that you have learned? It's so important to understand that the real growth happens only when you not only learn something but also use this knowledge in practice. Well, therefore, what adjustments will you make these days to adopt an actual pathways towards self-improvement? As you consider your path forward, ask yourself, there are some practical ways through which one may relate the content of this video to his/her everyday practice. Whether it is time allocated for engaging in practical experiences or giving oneself a chance to have fun while doing the work without necessarily having to consider the best way to go about it, all the changes result in occurrence of improvements. Always understand that you have a say on how your future will be like. In case you like this video and consider it helpful, please do not forget to subscribe to this channel and enable notification. This way, you will be more up-to-date with more insightful content that may be useful on the sometimes confusing and often tedious journey to self-improvement. Let's go on growing together and creating a life full and rich on the ways and paths as well as the growth itself. Imagine, dream, and have faith. Are you ready to make that kind of leap? That's it for today. I do hope I managed to add something today. So here the importance of the milk goes off, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day.